Okay, we've got this old Deus tube back out here. Now we're going to switch here now. We're going to look at this little piece of nail here. See that little piece of nail elevated over that clad down. Now all we're going to do here now is I showed what running slower it can help you in modern trash. Low conductor smaller maskers over high conductors, and that even goes for low conductor maskers over, say, lower conductors that read higher, like a gold ring or a nickel. Okay. In the fast program, reactivity 1, pitch tones, okay? So all I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to be changing the speed, okay? Reactivity 1, watch what happens now. Same similar call height and sweep. One-way signal, notice that. I'm going to slow it down. Slow it down. Now I'm going to sweep like we would be sweeping in the wild. So it's hard to get two-way signal when you're speeding that call up. Now that wasn't real fast. This would be real fast, okay? Now we're going to speed this machine up to 3. Reactivity 3, okay? Now watch. So I have higher odds if I flush that dime of getting two-way signal with a faster sweep at that call height with a reactivity of 3. Okay, now I'm going to change it. We'll look at 2, reactivity 2. What happens? No two-way signal, 2.5. .5 is trying to give us two-way signal, okay? 2.5 is a very good setting to be running this machine in a high iron sight, okay? Because you have a good depth to separation ratio. You're not giving up much of either one, okay? You know. But it doesn't do as good as 3, okay? But 3 is more depth limited. So, you know, you need to remember this when you're using this detector. When you come across this, you can hear it. But what if you got a dime over here that's 9 inches deep and you're in reactivity 3 and you hit a bare spot in an iron sight? Well, you may not hear it. You may be running a reactivity 1 on this machine. You get a one-way signal on the dime, but you come over here and you're getting two-way signal on a bare spot in an iron sight on a deep dime, or, you know, a deep Civil War button or whatever, okay? Now what we will do, since we're in here, let's go over here to mono program. Let's just pretend, okay, we're going to dial sensitivity up to 93. We're going to go back in here, we're going to use some of this. I'm going to leave it at 13.88. Okay. And I'm going to select pitch tone, 6.1 disc. I'm going to turn the iron volume to 0. 3 reactivity. Now you've seen what the fast program did with 3 reactivity. What do we get with 13.88? 13.88, that's about like the old AT Pro. You hear that? Even a real slow sweep. I'm hovering that dime. Look at that, what happens. You see that? Look what happens. Okay, now we're going to go up in the frequency here. We'll stop at 25 kilohertz. Now remember, that's a high conductor, okay? And this is what I said about this machine, this Deus 2. You know, there's a gentleman, he found a couple of high conductors in a sight that he had pounded. With a Deus 1 HF coil, okay? Now what I will do here, I'm at 25 kilohertz, that's reactivity 3. You hear that? Okay, I'm going to slow this machine down. There's 2. Okay. 2.5, 25 kilohertz. So in the wild, you sweeping over that nail on that dime right there, you ain't none the wiser, okay? We're going on up in the frequency. There's 32 kilohertz, 2.5. And I'll speed it up. I'll go back to 3, because 3 gave a good signal. You know, it was probably doing better in the multi-frequency with 3, so we're at 3 at 32 kilohertz. How about that? Look at that. Slow sweep, real slow sweep. Look at that. Let's get some coil height over that nail. Notice what happens there. See that? Right in there, I get a little signal or something. But if I get down there an inch above that nail or a little closer, just listen. It's real cold. I can get some signal like in there, but it's like random. We're going on up in the frequency. That's 40.4. We won't go any higher. Okay, now 40.4, notice what happens. Still don't really get much on it. But there's some one-way signal occasionally. Now think about that. You know, you don't stand over a finding a field sitting here, you know, in one spot. Well, I've knocked the nail off. But you don't do that. And, you know, that's not how we hunt. I'm going to go back to the fast program. Since I've knocked this nail off. Now I'm still at speed 3. You clearly hear that dime. Okay. So again, here I'm at 40.4 kilohertz. Reactivity 3, the same exact silencer level of 2. One-way signal at 40 kilohertz. See that? But it's real call specific. I don't even get a sweep every time. I don't get a signal quite every time. I've got the call up here past the nail. I'm up here. Sweeping directly over the center of that dime. Let's listen. Now if I get a little call height above that nail, I start getting a little tone. See that? Now, I go back over here to the fast program. I'm going to get down close to this nail. Speed 3, listen. Hear that? And I'm going to raise the call. Raise the call some more. You can see that dime right there with that nail over it right there is easy pickings even from this way. This is the hard way, I'd say. Let's come over here with fast program. We get the call out here, you know, we get it. Mono program 40 kilohertz. We get the call out, you know, out here past this nail, we get some signal. Well, again, you know, this is showing you an advantage, okay? On that high conductor, this multi-frequency is like fast program. The weakness on the Deus 1 high frequency calls and the weakness in Deus mono is iron and high conductors, okay? That's the biggest weakness compared to high frequency in the mono versus the multi-frequency. Yeah, the multi-frequency has some advantage over the higher frequency Deus mono. Dependent, okay? But on high conductors, most definitely. And this explains why them guys were finding those high conductors in them sites they busted with those white 9-inch HF coils on them Deus 1 units. I've done some other tests that shows this, you know, but that's about as clear of example as you're going to see. Now, most people were running those Deus HF coils about 32 kilohertz. You see what I get there? Reactivity 3. That's a tough target, ain't it? For the Deus model. Now, we can go in here real quick. 7.5 kilohertz, what do we get? You don't get jack. See that? 4.4 kilohertz speed 3. That dime will be laying there this time. Somebody to hit it with the fast program. I hope you enjoyed.